The following is a presentation from PokerStars.com. This week on the big game, Tony G has dominated this session like never before.
I think I might have nearly cracked $1 million.
Good one and only Tony G.
He's beaten him with his chips.
Okay, guys.
And his words.
What is going on here? Bring someone that's gonna play a hand.
But the loose cannon has stayed out of the way.
This is the type of game it is, huh?
It's been vicious.
Tonight, see if Elizabeth Houston can go after that NAPT passport.
I'm hoping to crush Nadia.
That's what everybody wants to see.
Or will she get deported from the big game? Next.
Poker is real.
This is the PokerStars.com Big Game.
Welcome to the newest big game in town. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose, where the fireworks continue in our state-of-the-art poker room. Tonight, there's over $1.5 million on the table, the most ever to be in play during a big game session.
Kid Poker Daniel Negreanu has had to dig into his deep pockets a few times already this week. He's down over $123,000.
A new player joins us tonight as Alan Berry replaces Joe Hashem in seat 3. The 24-year-old from Hoboken, New Jersey starts with $100 grand.
The jovial William Reynolds is down over $50,000, but he's been entertaining us for free, so someone's getting their money's worth.
Andrew ROBL joined the party last night and has been getting an earful from the man to his left. ROBL is stuck 3 dimes.
And the man delivering that earful is Tony G. Stacks McNasty over there has over $900,000 in front of him for a big game record-setting peak of plus $375K.
And the loose cannon is Elizabeth Houston from Canada. She's currently up 10.5 grand and hoping to increase her earnings to help raise awareness for autism, a disorder that affects her twin sister's 8-year-old son. Right now, she's with Amanda Leatherman.
All right, Elizabeth, you were down to about half your starting stack, but now you're back in the positive. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing, you know, just trying to keep positive and keep playing my game.
Do you have a target number that you want to walk away with as a winner, or are you trying to beat Nadia Magnus?
I'm really going to beat Nadia Magnus. That's the goal I want on the NAPT tour, so.
All right, good luck out there today.
All right, thank you.
Once again, here are the rules for the cannon. She's been staked $100 grand to play and keeps all money above the initial $100,000. As Elizabeth just mentioned, the loose cannon who's won the most money at season's end earns a North American Poker Tour passport worth $50,000.
Nadia Magnus set the benchmark at $63,600, so that's the number Elizabeth will be shooting for.
What would Tony's Hold'em manager stats look like today, Daniel?
Is what?
What would his Hold'em manager stats look like?
No idea.
Bet raise, re-raise. Like,
Man, I would love to see that re-raise percentage. Yeah, it's through the rough. It's like a normal VPIP.
45% re-raise.
a bit higher, a little bit higher. It's close.
These kids and their numbers, they're slightly off. His 3-bet percentage is high at 38%, and his VPIP is a staggering 76%. Add all that to the fact that he's won almost $1 million at Showdown.
Daniel folds to get us started. Alan Berry, second time on the big game, is out of here. Reynolds folds.
And once you qualify against me, you committed to the pot.
Pocket pair for ROBL.
Yeah, if you're qualified, yeah.
Raises.
Corkins, lead, 15.
Ace deuce for Tony.
All right, let's play, Tony.
All right.
Now that I have position,
raise it.
I'm ready to play.
3 pops to 4,000. Houston folds.
Up goes that 3-bet percentage.
This could be the huge pot.
ROBL is, in fact, qualified.
Very well could be.
The pot you've been hoping for. To crush the poor Tony G.
ROBL calls.
I will bet it. I won't pretend.
This is gonna be it.
I won't pretend and like think about the flop.
Tony G bet 8 grand in the dark. Flop tray 10-9, all hearts.
Andrew's hand is best.
He'll let you know what's up in 47 seconds. Don't worry. Exactly.
Oh, that's his double checking. You're too good for the double checking.
Andrew can't love this flop, but he has to know the odds are with him to have a better hand than Tony.
It's a blind bet, right? I mean, it's an easy setup for you.
Yeah.
Fold.
I was wrong. 28 seconds.
You know
He
what?
beat it by 19.
I had a red ice. Anyone want to bet if it was the right one?
It wasn't.
You don't remember, though?
I don't remember. I had a red ice, I promise you.
Tony G's giving people the red I promise you that.
I think you made a good laydown.
Certainly good for one of you.
Tony G continues to get the best of Andrew ROBL as we take a look at the rules of the big game. Each table lasts exactly 150 hands. The action pre-flop is pot limit, then no limit after the flop. Blinds are 2 and 400 with a $100 ante, all of which is paid by the player on the button. Every player begins with at least 100 grand but can reload for up to $500,000. Action begins on Alan Barry.
Who else sat down? Veffer and Hoyt Corkins. And Hashem in your seat.
Yeah, we've had a lot.
A lot of turnover. More turnover on this show than ever. They're just scared of you. Nobody wants to play with you. Bottom line.
There have been a total of 9 players so far in the big game this week, a record.
Alan Barry, the former Wall Street analyst, looking at a suited one gapper. Raises. Reynolds folds. ROBL. 9 deuce. Out of here. Tony G.
Tony G fire off.
Re-raises.
With 6 deuce.
Houston folds.
You know, after watching this all day, that's just like double the open. This might be one of my go-tos now, Danny.
What's that, double the open?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, just min-raise the open?
Yeah, you know.
You know who invented that, right?
No.
I did.
You invented it? How old are you, 21? You didn't invent anything.
You're a talent.
No one used to do that.
I started playing probably online poker before all of you guys did. I'm pretty confident.
I don't even play online. I'm a live player.
3 to the flop. 8-10, queen, 2 spades.
Check.
Daniel checks.
I invented it. I wonder what Doyle thinks about that.
I started playing when there was no...
Daniel has the best hand. Alan's got the best draw.
And checks.
There was no even graphics.
Tony bets 5,000. Daniel folds.
Tony started playing online back when these guys were busy collecting free AOL discs.
Was it like, what, Paradise or?
Before Paradise.
Barry calls.
Hoping to hit that spade.
The turn, tray of clubs.
Alan's picked up a pair. If he wasn't qualified before, he is now.
Barry checks. Tony fires 15 grand.
You could have qualified. Are you qualified here?
Barry calls.
That's been the word of the week here.
You know what? Just take it. I don't know.
He just folded.
Like so shocked. What just
Tony bet the turn, he called, and then Tony just folded.
I had 2 really bad cards. The best card for me was the 3.
Welcome to our game.
Welcome to the game.
You didn't want to
Alan pulled off the old call bluff.
I'm gonna ask again. We are playing a real money poker game, right?
Oh, yeah. It's just very unorthodox again.
I swear to God, it's the first time I've seen that.
I could have wasted my time. And...
You play online? Yeah?
A little bit.
A little bit.
She qualified online. She must play a little bit, yeah?
Qualifies.
Elizabeth qualified in a free roll and then submitted a video to be selected for the show.
Did you do anything special in your video? Just curious.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm just curious what you did in your video. Just talk.
She did want to meet me.
And that is special. Daniel, 10-9. Raises. Alan Barry's out.
No.
Reynolds. Calls. Jack 10 suited.
Don't get tense.
ROBL folds.
Enjoy it. Don't get tense.
Tony proclaimed himself last night to be the protector of the loose cannon.
He calls.
Is that possible?
No
I thought
re-raise?
it was 2K.
Everyone's surprised Tony just called. There goes that 3-bet percentage.
8-10 tray on the flop. Tony checks.
Daniel's got top pair, but he's got more kicker problems than the 91 Super Bowl.
We just got canceled in Buffalo because of that. Daniel fires 2,500.
Williams got a better top pair, and this will look like a normal C-bet from Daniel.
Reynolds calls.
Mr. G folds, and we are heads up, and I'm in position now. Wow.
7 of diamonds gives Daniel an up and down straight draw.
Would you say what a turn?
Yeah.
Did you say what a turn?
I did, actually. I muttered it, excited.
Daniel bets 6,500.
Daniel thinks he might have the best hand, and if not, he's got outs.
Willie's not bad for the game. I like him.
Hey, put big in front of that.
Big Willie. You are big. I mean, you're large, strong.
Large, in charge, big Willie.
You got a strong hand?
Dominated very nice.
What do you got? Big something big?
What do you have?
You know what? I gotta have anything. I'm in steam mode.
All right. I'm in position.
Reynolds calls.
Big Willie's also got a gut shot to go with top pair in position.
8 of spades on the river.
Check.
Daniel checks.
I check. I have a 10. This is kind of weak, missing out on the value. It's a 10 with the jack.
Of course it is.
You have a 10?
Of course I have a 10.
What are you so mad for over there? Show I missed a value bet. There, I missed a value bet. Daniel owned me. He didn't bet the river. I just snap and checked it back like, hey.
I'm real excited about it.
My favorite part of that hand is in like the middle of a $25,000 pot, you turn and start having a conversation with someone not involved in the hand. Like you don't even care.
Big Willie scooping pots and having a good time so far.
The big game is just heating up. More from Las Vegas coming your way after this. Welcome back to the big game. It's been a very interesting week for the loose cannon Elizabeth Houston, who's worked hard to turn a profit so far. But Elizabeth would be the first to say you haven't seen interesting till you've spent a day at her last job.
So I've had lots of jobs, but one of the jobs that I had in the past most recently was at eBay. I worked in the community watch department, which basically means that I was the eBay police. So it was my job to surf the site and pull down listings that went against our policies. There are lots of things on eBay that the normal person would be surprised to find. People sell their imaginary friends, wind that they captured in a jar from somewhere, their souls, a pair of dirty underwear from Michael Jackson, tissues from Scarlett Johansson, dirty shoes. I've seen lots of different crazy things during that job, definitely.
So, judging by those photos, Elizabeth got to keep all the stuff she made them take down. That's pretty cool.
Or gross.
We got a straddler. You will be back on the show as much as you like.
Back to back.
You are the man.
I've straddled like.
You are the man. You're an
at
action
least
guy.
50% of this spot.
You are an action guy. No, you've been good
We're
all
kicked
day.
off because we're not straddling it.
Reynolds straddled, so action's on ROBL, who folds.
To be on the big game, you have to straddle when Daniel's stuck.
No. You just have to give some action. Once in a blue moon, you have to actually give some action.
In Tony's world, the moon is blue nightly, and so is the sun.
Tony raises to 2,000 with a legit hand. The cannon, 10-9, calls.
I'm known as the tightest player.
You are.
The tightest player in the world has joined me and made his presence felt.
Daniel with ace-queen.
I'm raising.
He's out of position, but he knows Tony's likely to call light.
7,000 more.
7,000 on top.
To 9,000.
9,000.
I saw your VPIP.
Can I fold now?
You may. You may as well.
Put that in the pot. That 800 I straddled off, I just donated there.
Tony's in, Elizabeth's out.
Good luck.
What is it? Did I put 9? I'm going to bet 12 in the dock.
Oh, we're getting blind bets on the
Are you calling in the dark? Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
7, 6, 10 on the flop. Tony hits a set of perfect
I
tens.
should have raised in the dark on that flop. Now I feel silly. You been in dark again, Daniel?
No, not with that board.
Daniel has no idea how much he hates this board.
Top pair for Daniel.
Worst card ever for Daniel.
What did I bet on the flop? 12?
12.
He thinks he's good, but he's crushed.
Daniel fires 28,000.
Tony's just taking a second to daydream about what he's going to do with Daniel's money.
He just calls.
Tony's got his fish on the hook.
The river. The 5 of hearts.
It's really too bad for Daniel because this hand would be so good against Tony in so many other spots.
Daniel bets 60,000. Tony puts Daniel all in, raising to 275 grand.
The river may have saved Daniel a little bit, even though he's frustrated. Straight and flush draws both just got there.
Not that easy with the G.
What's the G?
It's not that easy.
No, I mean,
Put a lot of pressure
You're running
on.
good on me today.
Running good. You run good too.
I've been running good this last couple hours.
Daniel frustrated. Let's see if he figures it out.
I didn't even see that it was a heart, to be honest with you.
That
I really
out.
didn't see it was a heart. I might have checked the heart.
That 4-3 of hearts is...
Oh, that was stupid to check a heart. I mean,
Tony's known to have a lot of heart.
And commitment.
Heart and commitment.
Both Daniel and Tony's reps would suggest Daniel will stack off here.
He doesn't.
Good lay down.
thank you. Nice river.
The river didn't help me, it hurt me.
Oh, you had me already?
I had you on the flop.
Nice turn then. At ace queen.
Yeah, you were drawing dead.
Yeah. It's always nice.
Flop top set.
I'm throwing another 75 on.
But Daniel's now in for 375, and Tony has almost $1 million in front of him.
It was a good laydown. That's a tough laydown.
Check out old Moneybags' graph here. Tony's played 4 tables on the big game so far and got off to a slow start after dropping more than 52,000 at his first table. He exited after only 38 hands in his second stint after dropping over 278,000. On table 3, the G turned a small profit but was still down 311,000 coming into this session.
Tony has been impressive this week. He's turned that 6-figure loss into a 6-figure profit of more than 154,000 on the big game overall.
That's more swings than a heavyweight fight.
Well, right now it is Daniel Negreanu that's being dealt a standing 8 count.
This isn't a really internet table. There's 3 of us. It's like the most internet-y.
Internet-y.
ROBL folds.
I was forced to raise on the river.
Tony raises with pocket 8s. Ace-7 suited for the cannon. Calls.
Wrong.
Ace-10 for Daniel.
Well, if at first you don't succeed,
You must.
you make it 7,000.
You must re-raise to 7 grand.
I'd say this raise is partly because Daniel thinks it might be the best hand and partly steam raise.
Barry folds.
I can feel it heat up
I
in
will
here.
raise the pot.
Yup. Yup. I felt it
Hang
heat
on,
up.
I'm raising the pot.
It's going from the frying pan just to the inferno of all fireplaces.
Tony re-pops to 24-2.
This pot's getting very big all of a sudden.
No.
And it continues without Elizabeth.
17-4. Okay, I call.
But Daniel's going to stick.
24-2 is the bet, right?
A loose call, but not terrible against Tony's typical range.
The flop, 9-10-6. Tony with a gut shot.
This doesn't look like such a bad flop for Tony, but Daniel's hit top pair.
I'm all in.
Tony shoves.
Who cares? I guess you got, what do you have, kings now? I can't flop any better, really.
Daniel called a 4-bet with ace-10, so he's probably got to go with it when he hits top pair.
Break me.
And he just reloaded.
I'm committed again.
No, I know you are. Okay, you can show me one, if you want. One card. Show me
I'll show
one
you
card.
one after you fold.
Oh, I don't plan on folding. I just
Well,
want.
then just call. Don't waste
I
your
just
time.
want to see one card.
I can't do it this time.
He can't. He's got to stay consistent.
How about if I gave you $1,000 out of my pocket to show one card?
Even if you gave me $1 million, I wouldn't show you.
$1 million?
Yeah, the game's been like this all day. For $1 million, not one card will be shown.
I guess you have to have it, right?
If Tony G wins this hand, he's going to have over $1 million in front of him.
I feel like I'm gonna make a big mistake here.
What do you have?
I have a pair.
Sevens?
No.
Jacks?
Jacks. Same, something like that.
And sevens or eights are exciting. I mean, you don't
Right,
have
because then I got a straight draw. I can outdraw you.
You must have one of those hands, either sevens or eights.
He said he couldn't flop much better.
It's the only 2 hands you could have, right? Sevens or eights.
Well, I'm drawing live. That's for sure.
You got one of those hands then?
Yeah, I got a hand. I just should have probably
Just
folded.
go with it.
I'm probably going to.
Just go with it.
He says just go with it.
Just go with it.
I'm probably going to call you. I'm just telling you.
I understand.
But I think it's a bad call.
That's fair enough.
But I'm steaming.
You're entitled to make a bad
I am
call.
steaming, for sure. But I think you have...
It won't be the first or the last bad call you made. We could run it 100 times.
Twice is usually good. 100 times? Am I drawing dead?
No, 16 times I got it cleared. We can run it 16 times.
Oh boy, Tony G. I guess I should. You're a nice guy. You do good things with your money, right?
I do.
You do? All right, I'll give you some more, I guess. All right.
Daniel calls.
You have kings or something?
No, one time. No. 2 8s I have.
Oh, okay. 2 times, or you want to do once or twice? Oh, okay. I usually do twice. But if you want to do once, that's fine.
Once.
If Daniel can dodge trips or a straight, he will double up.
Otherwise, Tony will have a profit of nearly $600,000. Jack of clubs on the turn.
Not a horrible card, but not a good one either.
Oh my God, did that make him more outs? Yeah. I just realized, oh God. I was like, oh, Jack, that's a good card. I didn't even think, oh, Jack, good, he missed. I was thinking no 7, no 8. And then a queen would come and I'd say, pay me this.
Anything but an 8, a queen, or a 7, and Daniel will double up.
The river. The king of hearts.
It's a scary one.
Daniel doubles through Tony.
Easy money.
Good pot.
I might see a little more pep out of you now, Danny.
More pep? More pep than there has been? I've been playing every pot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't say you weren't playing every pot. Just a little more pep in the optimism department.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, where Daniel Negreanu just doubled up against Tony G. Kid Poker wavered before making the call, and afterwards told us what was going through his head. It's time to go behind the poker face.
Okay, to be honest, at this point in the game, it was hot and heavy, and I was steaming. I was up pretty good, and all of a sudden, I was buried. And Tony G decides to come in for a $2,000 raise, and the loose cannon calls. I'm on the button with ace-10 of spades and just fuming, and it looked like a really good spot anyway. Anytime the loose cannon just calls and I have position, I'm gonna put a squeeze in because Tony G could have anything. So I went ahead and I raised it to 7,000. And then Tony G announces,
I will raise the pot.
and he raises 17,000 more. We get rid of the loose cannon, and pretty much a hand like this, you're supposed to fold a lot of time considering my stack size. But I was steaming, as I said, and I decided to call the raise because I had position. Don't try that at home. Now the flop comes down 10, 9, 6, and instantly Tony G says,
I'm all in.
He didn't hesitate for a second. There's like, I don't know, 40, 50,000 in the pot. I've got a little over 100,000 to make the call. So I'm just basically trying to go over what kind of hands that Tony G would do that with. And, you know, I figured if he has aces, kings, or queens, I thought maybe he would want to bet something to get me to call. His big overbet didn't scream like a bluff, though, because I know he's not bluff re-raising me before the flop. So doesn't have a set, though, because if he has a set, he's not going to want me out, right? So I thought, well, maybe there's a chance he has, like, queens or kings is what I really thought he might have. But even if he does, I can still catch an ace or a 10. I've got 5 wins against that. But there's also a chance, because I've seen Tony G do this with small pairs before, that he has a hand like 2 8s or 2 7s and wants to just put it in knowing that he's got outs even if he's beat. So finally, I just decided to make the call, and he had the 8s. Turn card was a jack, which gave me more outs, and the river card blanked off, and I was back in the game. All of a sudden, it helped me get back on track.
Apparently, Daniel's version of getting back on track is still losing more than I make in a year.
A year? What are we paying you around here?
I said more than I make in a year. Way more.
Oh. I was trying to get you a boost, that's all. Action on the cannon, looking at ducks.
With baby pairs, you want to see a flop as cheaply as possible.
Nope, she raises to 2,400. Daniel, ace-10 for the second straight hand.
Elizabeth limped with aces, she limped with kings, she limped with king-queen suited. Now she's raising a hand that's guaranteed to be a coin flip at best.
I'm going to raise you back.
Uh-oh.
45 more.
Repops to 6,900. Alan Barry, queen-6 suited, folds. Reynolds is out. ROBL, suited 1 gapper, folds. Tony, pocket pair, just calls.
It's 45.
Daniel knows time is running out for the cannon. He tried to isolate this pot with her.
And the cannon calls as well.
Greatest game ever.
I'm always qualified, you know.
I like that attitude. I really do.
3 to the flop. 8, 9, 5, 2 hearts. Tony G checks the best hand.
Let's see how Elizabeth likes these ducks now.
Enough to check. Daniel in position.
He also had the pre-flop lead.
Daniel bets 8,500. Tony quickly calls, and Houston folds.
These two are at it again, only Tony's got the best of it this time.
The turn. The deuce of diamonds would have given Elizabeth a set.
You're not supposed to react to the board when you're not in the hand, but something tells me she wants to do a lot more than that.
Tony checks.
Elizabeth looks like she's in pain. Shake it off, kid.
I can't bet that flop.
Daniel checks.
I wouldn't recommend betting at all if he thinks he's only looking at the flop.
4 of diamonds on the river. Tony fires 15,000.
Very thin value bet.
I can beat a hand. I'm trying to think. There's one hand I can beat. It is the 10 and the jack. I can beat that. I can beat the queen and the 10.
Just fold and let me have it.
Huh?
Just fold it and let me have it.
No, I might play it because this is a lucky hand for me. Like it's got a lot to do with luck now. No, I want to pay this time. I think I want to pay again. Betting 15. I hope you're just betting a 5 because I'll be proud of you. If you're just saying, you know what, I have a 5, I'm betting. That's how you play with hot.
He basically is.
Right?
I've seen it.
I will be proud of Tony G if he shows me just a 5 and says, give me that money. Send him back on his tricycle. But I want to see. All right, buddy.
Daniel calls.
It's the same as 5s.
7s. That's good. Yeah, I'm proud of you. It's similar. Very similar. I had ace high. You had what?
I had pair of deuces, so I went over.
She would have turned the set?
Turned the set.
See, now, Daniel, I would have been really proud if you showed us king 10.
King 10 would have been a snap call.
So Tony G gets some of his chips back as he continues to lead things. He's up almost 375 grand. Meanwhile, Daniel's yo-yo night continues. He's stuck over 140. The loose cannon is hovering around even.
Remember, if Elizabeth can finish with a profit, she'll have a decision whether to keep the money or come back to try to win more cash and also to overtake Nadia Magnus for the NAPT passport.
That was one of her goals coming in, along with increasing awareness about autism, which afflicts her nephew. Action continues as ROBL folds. Tony G's out. The cannon folds.
Disciplined laydown. Very disciplined.
It was a hard one.
It took a lot of heart to lay that one down.
Daniel raises. Alan Berry, suited 1 gapper.
This would be a fairly risky call out of position.
Actually raises.
If you're going to play the hand, you take the lead.
Hey, at least someone's playing along with, that's Tony G stuff.
Daniel calls.
Alan said he likes these small 3-bets.
The flop, 6-10 deuce, 2 spades. Daniel still best.
Alan had the last aggression.
Fires 3,100.
C-betting to continue to rep any sort of big hand or draw.
Daniel calls.
Daniel C calls.
The turn, the 4 of spades, giving Daniel a flush draw. Barry checks.
Okay.
Daniel checks. Trey of spades gives Daniel a flush on the river.
Let's see if Alan tries to rep the big spade here.
He does, firing 12.5 grand.
This play would be way more likely to work if Daniel didn't have the queen of spades.
Daniel calls.
Jack
Down on
on.
the table, you must be.
Jack on.
Floosh.
The yo-yo is back up for Daniel.
You mean to re-raise pre-flop, or did you mean to just call?
He meant to.
I 3-bet. I meant to 3-bet.
3 click back bet.
Daniel wins a pot of 36K.
Told you I invented that. Swear. I was the first person to start doing it.
Ever. Because you've been around since, what, the 70s? Right? Like, how could you possibly say something like that when people have been playing for 50 years, 60 years?
Welcome back to Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the big game. If you can't get enough of the big game, you can see bonus hands, extra stats on this table, as well as footage deemed too hot for TV on the website.
We need to get a counter on this this big game show. How many times qualified is going to be set? Like in the bottom corner, there has to be like a qualified counter. Like 1, 2, it'll just be like pink, 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 pink.
Tony G's would go off every time he gets his second card.
Well, Daniel straddles action on Barry. Pocket pair.
10s are considered to be a big pocket pair, so you don't necessarily need to see a cheap flop.
He raises to 2,600.
Okay.
Okay, Reynolds folds. ROBL, ace-6. Nope. Tony?
Ping, 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 ping.
No. Bum-ba-na-na-na. Houston folds 2. Daniel calls.
You can't get unstuck if you don't play, I guess.
Right.
And I'm going to check.
Daniel checks in the dark. The flop, 9-6 queen, 2 spades. Daniel with a gut shot. Barry still best. And bets 3,600.
You don't call with 7-5 pre-flop out of position to fold a gut shot. That's just silly. If you miss it, you can always float.
Daniel calls. The turn. 4 of clubs, giving Daniel an open ender.
He's just picked up 3 more outs.
He checks.
That 4 shouldn't be a scare card, and Allen will want to protect against draws.
Barry bets 8,500.
If Daniel's chasing, I don't imagine he'll fold now that he's picked up more outs, though he's not getting a very good price.
You're right, Joe. Daniel calls.
He's stuck in steaming and trying to get lucky here.
The river.
Daniel's bricked like a Shaq free throw.
And checks.
Not only did he miss, but he's got the second nut low.
Barry again bets, this time 18.5 grand, and Daniel folds.
That was a very thin value bet. Maybe he sensed Daniel's frustration and thought he might call light. I don't think there was any amount low enough. Daniel would have called with 7 high, though.
So Daniel dropped that hand, but Joe, we're seeing something very interesting with Daniel's play as of late.
Yeah, after Alan Barry showed up 20 hands ago, Daniel's been seeing even more flops along with Tony G. They're both at 70% since the change in table dynamic. And this also happens to coincide with our approach of 150 hands. These guys are going to open it up while they chase the cannon, but also they're action junkies. In the end of 150 hands, the weekend's for them too.
Action begins on Alan Barry, who took over this seat from Joe Hashem tonight. Fold 7 tray.
I call.
With a pocket pair, Reynolds calls.
See that? Cheap flop.
Reynolds folds.
Also makes it easier to call this 3-bet from Tony G.
He raises to 2,000. Queen Jack for the cannon. She calls out of position. So does Daniel.
And like that, Williams built himself his own little pot odds.
He calls 2. 4-person party to the flop, which is 8 Queen Jack, top 2 for the cannon.
This is an action flop, and it looks like Elizabeth is gearing up for a donk bet.
She fires 6,000.
Even though Daniel probably knows she's strong, he's open-ended and drawing to the nuts.
Calls.
I fold.
Thank you, William. Tony G.
He's got a pair and a gut shot.
Calls.
Probably a little more action than Elizabeth was hoping for.
The turn is the 4 of spades.
Elizabeth would do right to bet again for value and to prevent these guys from getting a free card.
She does, making it 15,000 to go.
It's a decent-sized bet. But we saw Daniel chase the last hand, and on this hand, he's got better pot odds and implied odds. Daniel's checking out her stack, knowing she probably has something strong enough to lose it all if he does make the nuts.
Daniel calls. Tony folds.
Good luck.
Heads up to the river, which is the ace of hearts, making a straight for Daniel.
That's Daniel's gin card, and this could get ugly for the cannon. I expect her to bet here.
Now she checks.
Somehow she knew to slow down. Daniel's got the nuts. Let's see how much he thinks she'll pay off.
50.
He bets 50,000.
We know Elizabeth should fold, but she knows Daniel is steaming, and there are plenty of hands she could be beating. If she was wise enough to check the river, maybe she'll have the discipline to fold. If Elizabeth has watched this show at all, she would know Daniel doesn't bluff raise the river very often. No one does.
If Elizabeth makes this call, she'll have less than 30,000 remaining in her stack.
Call.
Ouch.
She sees it.
Damn it. Super.
No. Daniel with the dirty river.
Bad luck there. She's had so many big hands get cracked.
She's made big laydowns too.
Yeah.
You played really well today, but sometimes poker superstars like Daniel Negreanu hit the river.
I think Will's funny, but I doubt Elizabeth thinks he's funny right now.
Not at all. She is now stuck over 70 grand with just 40 hands to go. Meanwhile, Daniel's roller coaster ride continues. He's now stuck less than 6 figures. Let's see how both Daniel and Elizabeth respond when we come back. Welcome back to the big game, and that is the stack of Elizabeth Houston, who just went from having a small profit to a deficit of more than 70,000, thanks to Daniel that last hand.
Kid Poker has already taken care of a few loose cannons this season. He took care of Will Davis on hand 130, then Aaron Jensen on 108, and narrowly missed Elizabeth on hand 110. Speaking of 110 hands, that was Elizabeth's 110th hand, and it was her very first showdown.
That is really amazing. But now she has got to get it going as time is running out. Action begins on Andrew ROBL. 7-5, folds. Tony G, big slick. Raised to 2,000. Pocket pair for the cannon.
With 29,000 left, this is basically all-in territory.
6.
Nope, just a raise to 6.
Re-raising chips.
King, queen for Daniel.
All right, we'll give her some action.
Overcalling chips.
Calls.
Good luck.
If Daniel wanted her to have luck, he wouldn't be in this pot trying to run her down.
Very
That's
folds.
what we call a cougar. No one got that one. Sometimes I go cougar hunting.
Reynolds is out.
12.
Tony repops.
Tony's trying to give her some protection. She should put in a 4th bet here.
What the hell?
Nope, just a call.
Oh, you just have to raise. Why do you just call?
Sorry, I thought,
Tony wanted to tag
I
team
thought
me.
it was potted already.
Tony really wanted to tag team me there and get me out.
Not really. I mean,
No, I understand.
I don't care.
Daniel called 3 to the flop, which is queen 8 trade.
Check.
Tony checks.
I'm all in.
The cannon's all in.
How much is it?
Daniel hit his 3-outer.
So sick.
The loose cannons on all of it.
I've busted 2 in my career.
It's like 11-9.
Elizabeth can't be feeling too comfortable right now.
Daniel calls. Tony folds.
Joe Queen.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
She sees the bad news.
Are you guys running it
Hang
once?
on, if you want, you can run it twice.
Run
It's
it.
up to
You should run it more than once.
In this case, I think it wouldn't be a bad. Well, actually, you know what? In this case, it wouldn't be that bad because she's drawing so slim. I mean, it's totally up to you.
All right, run it twice.
She wants to run it twice. That way, you at least get your half the pot if you catch one of the 2, and you'll still.
Tony, I'm as tilted as you are. This is guy over here. He just keeps knocking out the loose cannons. How are we supposed to play poker? There's no loose cannon.
There's nothing
And
to
now
look
we,
at.
and now
Beautiful
we,
picture in front of me.
and now
Tony's too tilted to realize he's being patronized.
They're going to run it twice. The first turn, the ace of diamonds.
Ace. Hey, there's your ace from space.
There
How
it is.
sick is that?
Would have made Tony top pair.
That is sick.
Doubt that'll improve his mood.
The first river. It's a jack, and Daniel wins the first pot.
So she got one more chance. I mean, so far it's a good decision to run it twice.
None of those were hearts.
I think it's pretty cool how they all root for the cannon.
The second turn, the 6 of diamonds.
110. Let's have a 10.
She goes, I go. There you go. We both leave.
If Tony goes, I'm going to the club.
You lose, I go too.
We might have nobody left if Elizabeth doesn't hit her 10.
Will this be the cannon's final card?
It is.
Ugh. Sorry.
All right, pack it
It's
up.
good playing with you.
It's good playing with you. Elizabeth, I thought you played excellent.
Daniel wins both runs, winning more than 71 grand.
The Cannon Killer, Daniel the Cannon Killer Negreanu.
That's my 3rd. That's so bizarre.
Well, apparently the G stands for gentleman. Elizabeth is done.
Pack it up.
Will Tony come back? Welcome back to the big game, where Nadia Magnus has retained the top spot for that NAPT passport. That after Elizabeth Houston was just busted on hand 112.
First, Daniel-san swept the leg, then he finished her off with the crane kick.
Her sensei, Tony G, still has his chips at the table. Wonder if he's coming back.
Elizabeth's replacement in seat 1 is Lex Veldhuis, who's starting off with 100K. The 26-year-old Dutchman is originally from Holland and comes to poker via the professional video game circuit, mainly competing in the game StarCraft.
Hey! I'm back!
I'm back. I'm getting revenge.
You only missed a straddle.
I'm getting the revenge.
Butcher from Baghdad.
What revenge? You're up like 400,000.
I'm gonna get revenge for my cannon.
That's called avenge, isn't it?
I thought you were gonna be like,
avenge me.
I'm not sure she needs to be avenged. She went broke on her free roll. Still got a free trip to Vegas out of the deal.
Daniel straddles to the action on Alan Berry. Former Wall Street analyst, Jack 5 suited.
Always interested in these
folds.
little things.
Reynolds is out. ROBL, very quiet. King 4, see ya. Tony, 10-9.
22.
Raises to 2,200. Lex folds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got mines.
Daniel calls.
The Avenger Tony plays a lot like the regular Tony.
The flop, 8-4-7. Open ender for Tony. Fires 5,000.
Daniel's got middle pair.
And calls.
Should have done that in the dark.
10 of hearts on the turn. Top pair for Tony. And checks.
Daniel's picked up a gutter ball draw.
And checks. Tony makes a straight on the river. That's 15,000.
Bad river for Daniel, who's just made 2 pair. This could be some of the revenge Tony's looking for.
Ah, if you checked, I would have bet that.
Means you can raise now.
Wait a minute, you checked the turn? I'm not gonna raise you. I mean, I can beat anything but a straight. Pretty much, I mean. I just like to pay you off, don't I? I mean, you can bet worse hands than I have. I can't fold, no way.
Daniel calls.
9 wins.
9-10, I guess you can't guess that one.
9-10. Oh, that's good. I made a good check on the turn, at least.
You did?
Very unpleasant.
I would have been really committed to that part this time. Genuinely, I actually might have been even overcommitted.
Overcommitted?
The jack appeared
Tony
on the
G
turn.
needs to be committed, all right.
Well, Daniel was near even, but that loss set him back a bit. Tony G, on the other hand, continues to dominate, and the news was not good for the Cannon as Elizabeth Houston heads back to Canada with her twin sister empty-handed.
Elizabeth played timidly, and timid does not get it done on the big game. If Nadia Magnus can maintain the lead for 3 more tables, the NAPT passport will be hers.
All right, guys, that was the last hand of the night. Daniel, you busted another loose cannon.
I know, I'm mean, right?
You're very mean. Tony, you're up almost 400,000 bucks. How you
I don't
feeling?
care about the money, I care about the loose cannon. I'm out there to protect the loose cannon. I'm gonna come after Daniel, I'm gonna crush him. Destroy him and rip him apart for all the loose cannons he has damaged. No damaging the loose cannon.
All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I'm Amanda Leatherman saying goodbye for now. And remember, if you've got the cash and the guts, there's always a seat open at the big game. Good night, everybody.
I don't think there was ever a spot where I thought to myself that I was being outclassed.
She held her own huge against all those guys, and I'm just so proud of you.
I really think that I was able to come and get across the message about autism, and if I've gotten a message out a little bit, it makes it all worthwhile.
The preceding was a presentation from PokerStars.com.